following program may contain coarse language, suggestive dialogue, and discussion of violent imagery and sexual situations. It is intended for mature listeners who can tell the difference between facts and opinions.
The bad guys go looking for trouble and find it on this episode of the Toonami Faithful podcast. I am your host, Sketch, and with me I have...
Bob Skrilla, the founder of ToonamiFaithful.com.
And...
Notorious Rider, Razorkid.
And...
One of your Toonami Faithful social media dudes, Steven.
And we have a returning guest.
Your premier Toonami Faithful graphic designer, JP Reckless.
Thanks for joining us, JP. And as always, thank you for joining us, Streamin' Steven, running the stream.
Streamin'
like
Steven, I like that. I like it.
No problem.
We all like that.
So now it's gonna stick.
It's gonna, yeah,
Got it.
it's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a thing from now on. Now, I know some of you listeners would really like us to talk about Lazarus. And two of our participants will not be available for when we do talk about the last episode of Lazarus. And by the way, we may have a special guest for that, a returning member of the Toonami Faithful podcast. I'll leave it to you to guess. It's not Jose.
Mystery.
I'm going to say it's not Jose.
All right,
God
what
damn
are
it,
you getting my
Sketch, go to
hopes
the
up
corner.
for?
Yeah. So we're not going to talk about the final episode of Lazarus this episode, but I will perhaps leave an opportunity for some discussion from JP and Paul, who will not be able to join us for that.
Oh, I have a lot to
So.
say.
I'm sure you do. But first business. Also, Kuro did not want to miss a Blue Exorcist discussion, and as she is not joining us this evening, I decided, okay, we'll punt Blue Exorcist. We have plenty of weeks off to work with, so we will get back to Blue Exorcist as well, possibly in that next episode, maybe the one after that. We'll see. We shall see. So this week, we're catching up on Dragon Ball Daima. We got 3 episodes to talk about. But first, the latest episode of Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War. Now, this episode opens up with a truly metal sequence.
Oh gosh, it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
It's a flashback to the previous war with the Quincy's, where the 13th Point Guards are headed by Yamamoto, and as we later learn, they're really only court guards in name. They're just monstrous people. And they completely wreck the Quincy's. And it's a very, very cool flashback. Certainly paints our heroes in a certain light. But we do also
known for
have
a while that the Soul Society wasn't always the best
Oh, yeah.
place.
we've known for a long time. I mean, they weren't exactly welcoming to Ichigo Kurosaki in the Soul Society arc, now were they?
Not particularly, no.
And because of that, some of this episode really it's just weird. It's just weird to experience it retroactively. But there's also a brief flashback where a guy who's quite old now, who still calls Yamamoto old man, Little Shisui. Little Shisui's getting into some trouble, and because he's really into this one painting that Yamamoto has around. He says, "What is that, Masters?" As well, that's a monster, and this old man will be dead next time you see this monster.
If you see this monster, which he hopes you never will. Well,
Rather
yeah.
poignant. So Soul Society is still getting absolutely trashed by the Wandenreich, and Yamamoto in the previous episode lost to Yuaba quite tragically. It was a good fight, but oof. Played some nasty tricks. He's a cheater. He's a cheater for sure.
Maybe he pulled you activated my copy trap card. What was a real me?
Yeah, didn't Kenny say he killed that guy who could copy people? Well, no, he didn't kill him. He just knocked him out. Dang it, Kenny, you should have killed him. You're getting sloppy. You're getting sloppy, Kenpachi. We can't have that. Ichigo's getting increasingly upset, knowing exactly what's going on in Soul Society. Akon helps him break out. It's really nonchalant of us, like, sorry, we could have gotten you out of there sooner, but we had some complications. Like, no kidding. Really?
The complications, like the arrows in your back.
Yeah. I have to wonder if that one Soul Reaper in that control room that was like, Ichigo Kurosaki will save us. Is she dead? Probably. Sad.
Yeah, hard to say. There's a lot of dead Soul Reapers.
Yeah, there are. They definitely are. Well, with Yamamoto out of the way, Yuabaha calls in some of the grunts for the Quincy's, to keep cleaning up the remaining grunts of the Soul Reapers. And the Soul Reapers are like, they're just grunts. We can take them. It's like, yeah, but you're just grunts too, and it's not going well. Not going well. Now that Ichigo is on the playing field, he first goes to, oddly enough, Byakuya, who's in really, really bad shape. Pretty much just about to die, but he has enough time to have a conversation with Ichigo. Ichigo reassures him that Rukia and Renji are both alive still. And he says, Ichigo Kurosaki, what are you even doing here? This isn't your fight. But I must ask this of you. Please save Soul Society. I'm like, dang, man. Remember when I tried to kill you in cold blood? Good times.
Well, the times they changed.
They certainly did. They certainly did. Now, this conversation that His Majesty has with Yamamoto, pretty interesting. It's where he points out that Yamamoto's court guards used to be just real bloodthirsty fighters that wiped out all the Quincy's. But after that, he developed a sense of justice and a desire for peace and wanting to not involve the humans. And he mocks him for not having Orihime fix his arm, which would have obviously given him a better chance at this fight. And also not involving Ichigo Kurosaki even when Aizen was causing a muck until he absolutely had to. So he just can't believe that this man who obliterated the Quincy's would become so different and go soft, and he claims, because you've become soft, you lost this fight. Interesting. But things are about to get even more interesting as Ichigo shows up on the scene to battle with Yuabaha. And his right-hand man, hench or whatever.
Haschwalth.
Haschwalth. He's a henchman. So the Haschwalth kind of tries to intervene, but Ichigo breaks through and manages to start his fight with Yuabaha, but obviously he's not in great shape, and Yuabaha's like, do you really expect to win in this condition? I am impressed that you were able to get out of the jail, but there's no way that you're going to win this fight. And Ichigo's like, all right, well, are you the bad guy? And he's like, you could
Are you
say
the
I'm
enemy?
the bad guy.
Enemy. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not.
And he's pretty pissed off at that. He got one pissed off Ichigo Kurosaki. He's like, what do you mean? Let me clarify. Let me ask you differently. Are you the one responsible for destroying Soul Society? Yeah, that's me. Okay, now that we're clear, we get to the fighting now. But it doesn't go.
I actually love that
real well.
conversation. It's really interesting, hinting at things.
It is. And more will be revealed almost immediately after, as Yuabaha tries to mortally wound Ichigo, and it doesn't succeed because he's got Blood Vein, a Quincy power. Huh.
Dun dun dun.
And then he attacks him again just to make sure. And then he starts dropping the foreboding. You don't know anything about your history. You don't even know about your own mother. When that gets him real mad. Ooh, that gets him real mad. So he tries to fight back, but it's no use. He can't win. Not in this state. But also, there apparently was a time limit for the Wandenreich to be in Soul Society. And time is up because sneaky little Aizen messed with their sense of time when they went to visit him. All right,
Frickin'
Aizen.
Aizen. Just because he could.
Just because he could. I guess we should be grateful in this instance. Things definitely could have gotten worse, but His Majesty is pretty okay with the state of things, so they portal off. And I actually thought Ichigo was gonna use that same power and go after them, like right then. But no, he hasn't awakened all of his Quincy abilities by any stretch. But it is interesting that Yuaba explains that Ichigo interacting with the jail probably was the catalyst that unlocked his Quincy abilities. Because every time he would attack the jail, his spiritual pressure would mix with some of Kilge's spiritual pressure and awaken something deep within him. Okay. Sure. Whatever. It's a good enough explanation, I suppose.
When it comes to Bleach, if we have a thing, Ichigo is it. Ichigo is all of the things.
Ichigo is all the things, and there's reasons.
There are reasons, yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much this episode of Bleach. Heck of a place to leave off for a couple of weeks.
The other big thing is that Ichigo lunged at Iwabaha with that sword, and Haschwalth cut his Zanpakuto in half.
That's right. That's very important. Haschwalth broke Ichigo's sword while he was in Bankai mode, I might add.
Yes.
So that is bad.
That's very bad.
Very
Here
bad.
comes Ichigo needs a new sword. I mean, isn't that usually what happens?
Yes, time to get a new sword.
Yes.
We don't have that really angry blacksmith hanging around to be like, Ichigo, you broke your sword again.
Sir, this is not Demon Slayer.
Isn't it, though?
Uruko dies and just be like, "You broke the sword again." Uruko Daki, excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had his name almost right.
So, dang, heck of an episode of Bleach. So was the previous one, which I didn't really get to talk
These
about.
last two hit like a ton of bricks, both, no matter how many times I've seen them.
Yeah. Really intense stuff. So, JP, what are your thoughts on this episode and the arc so far?
The arc is so far, man. You know, I always saw it. Saw the series throughout, but as I watch it again, it just shows you how intense the show is going. You know, Bleach, they ain't playing around. This episode in particular, man. You know, I knew once dude talked about Ichigo's mama. I was thinking about that movie Don't Be a Menace with Marlon Wayans said, "What you say about my mama?" Oh man. But yeah, it's like and then dude just yeeted his sword. Like, get this shit off my face, boy. You ain't ready for this yet. Yeah, it seems like Ichigo, you know, he's not ready for what's going to happen in the next few episodes. So yeah, it's very intense going into these next couple episodes. So yeah.
Yeah, after that devastating loss in Soul Society, I mean, there's gonna need to be some recuperation, I'm sure, but they'll be back
Yeah.
before long, no doubt.
Yep.
No doubt. They still got stuff to do. But I will say this. Though I won't credit the Wandenreich as, you know, thinking about these things too much, but, you know, maybe they wiped out all of those hollows in the other realm when they did, specifically so that they could wipe out all these Soul Reapers and not destroy the balance. Just something I thought about.
That's an interesting thought. The stated reason was to throw the balance off, to basically put the Soul Reapers off balance, but yeah, that would rebalance it.
Yeah. So again, Mayuri, you didn't have to kill all those people. It took care of itself. Now you gotta go kill some more hollows to balance things, probably. Sheesh. All right. Paul, what do you think of this episode?
Well, first of all, I have a question. What was the right-hand man's name again?
Haschwalth.
Bless you. Anyways,
Gesundheit. There's got to be somebody named Gesundheit.
Gesundheit.
the way that hit the
Haschwalth Gesundheit.
Oh my god.
by the way, the
No,
head
no,
of
no.
Quincy's
Chu Gesundheit.
Oh
no.
All right, Paul, sorry.
Anyways. By the way, every time you say the leader's name of the Quincy's, like I'm sitting here thinking, am I playing Doom right now? Because every time in the original Doom, like I can't remember which one of them like made that noise, but it always sounded like brouhaha or something like that. So anytime that somebody says something close to that, I'm like, oh, I'm playing Doom.
Makes me think of One Piece laughs.
One Piece laugh absolutely is what I get from it.
Even
Well,
Doom like laughter.
so let's see. So Ichigo has Hollow powers. He has Soul Reaper powers. And now he's going to have Quincy powers. Does everybody
That's not
just
all
want
of them.
Does
Don't
Does
forget
everybody...
Fullbring.
Yeah, he's Fullbring too.
Oh, Fullbring too. That's true. Does everybody just want to run now? Because like, I feel like he's just going to kill everybody at this point.
Well, he's not quite at that level yet, but
Well,
theoretically, he could
I'm
get
assuming
there.
he's going to be there at some point, you know.
Well, seeing
There
as
again-
Yamamoto seems to be dead, though Yuabaha even said he didn't think Yamamoto was one of the 5 special
threats.
Kenny was one, Ichigo is another. Who are the other 3?
That is an interesting question.
Interesting.
Have one of them been dealt with already? Was Haribel one of them? By the way, where's Haribel? You'd think that she would potentially be useful in this situation, but I guess she's not quite getting broken in yet.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm
Your use of words, Sketch. I sometimes wonder. I'm interested to see where this goes, honestly. And again, I'm glad that Toonami finally picked this up because it's the only place where it should be playing at this point, honestly. And obviously we'll be talking about Daima too, but so same with that, but yeah. It's definitely nice to see the show back on the block. New sword. I am curious what that's gonna be like. As long as we don't have like a
involve Zangetsu, because I'm still kind of thinking Zangetsu and Yoba look awfully similar.
They do
Well-
look awfully similar.
They do, yeah.
well, what is it? So didn't Zangetsu get destroyed once in the original trilogy
Nope.
too? Like, wasn't it? I thought it was though.
There
Like,
was
did
a
he, like-
period where Ichigo couldn't get a hold of him, and he was just getting his hollow self instead, who would insist, I am Zangetsu.
Okay.
But he had trouble finding old man Zangetsu. But then he
By the
got
way,
him when he was doing
But
the
physically, his
Dongai
sword
training.
wasn't destroyed.
No, the sword itself
Okay.
was not. His unreleased sword was destroyed in like the original storyline right before the Soul Society arc, but that was just like, before he even had Shikai.
Right.
Okay, so that's
So
what I
maybe
remember.
that's what
Okay.
you're thinking.
That's what I'm thinking. Okay, because I was like,
also
wait,
like, yeah, didn't he have a sword that got destroyed and needed to
yeah,
get...
that's what I thought too. Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute.
And
okay.
it was kind of weird because he went from having this big old buster sword to something much sleeker. And you're like, oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and then when they restored his powers, he got an even cooler sword. So it's like, okay, all right, I'll go with this.
So you can just guarantee that he'll get an even cooler sword now.
As long as it's not some weird ass dude that follows him around and yells at him every time he breaks his sword, I'll be fine.
Hey, listen. You broke your sword.
And then my favorite part is he's like this. He takes his mask off or gets his mask ripped off, and he's like, actually, some strong ass dude that you don't want to fucking mess with. Yeah, no, I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm good.
He got terrifying,
Yeah,
Mr. Haganeska.
I still like. I mean, I know we're talking about Bleach, but it still makes me laugh that in the village arc there where they're like, he's like they're in the middle of a battle and he's getting slashed and he's like, must finish the sword, and I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Very dedicated.
Holy shit! Like, how about move back?
He's good
Like,
at one thing, and he's gonna do it.
I mean,
Speaking of
Jesus
Demon
Christ,
Slayer,
yeah.
when you guys were contemplating shows the other week, I can't believe nobody mentioned Demon Slayer Hashira training arc. Because in my mind, that is perfect timing with the movie release this September.
True.
Oh, maybe that might be coming next. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but it might be coming next.
Just
Would be a
seems to
good
make
place for it.
sense to me.
I mean, we'll be seeing in 2 weeks, won't we?
Yes, we will.
We'll be seeing if something new's coming or they're just going to repeat Lazarus. We'll see.
We will see. Steven, you have
But-
any thoughts on this episode?
How come no one's talking about that Ichigo's mom's a Quincy? That's like mind blowing.
Oh, it
That-
is.
It
It
is.
that
There's-
thing.
There's,
Yeah,
you don't know enough to. I mean, I do, but I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
But
true. But I mean,
it's sort of a wow. Yeah, that
From what he said,
a-
it's kind of just implied, but
it,
yeah.
it-
I think
was
we
there
all know.
hints all throughout the show, like
No.
in the past?
Not
Because I don't
at
remember
all.
anything like that.
So my one thought is, how is his mother, who I presume is a pretty darn good Quincy, she couldn't fight Kingfisher herself?
keep
Mm.
watching this space. There will be an explanation.
She might have given herself up to protect her
Yep.
children.
She may have given up her power.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Mm.
say.
Mm.
But that's gonna be an
Oh.
interesting conversation
okay.
with what's it with oh god. See, I'm so bad with names.
So is he
Not
like?
him.
I did
Not him?
forget to mention his foreboding words. Was like, "Goodbye, my son born in the dark." It's like,
Oh,
Yeah,
is he like?
gosh.
Is he like your great 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 grandpappy? Is that it?
Don't
All
give them
Quincy's
ideas.
Stem from him at some way or another, is my understanding.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean that's a little boring, but okay.
I mean, his hair does look like Ichigo at times, so I'm like, I thought that was his father, but I'm like, I don't know about that much.
No,
yet.
no, no. His
No,
father's
we
Ishin.
know who his dad is. His dad's an awesome Soul Reaper.
Yeah,
Yeah. Who retired?
and got married to a Quincy.
Yes. I wonder why that happened.
Mm.
Hmm.
Romeo and Juliet, huh?
It is interesting, though. I mean, I wouldn't say I wasn't hooked already, but having that mystery in there, and then just going on of like saying that my son, and then just saying leaving basically the episode of like the reveal of almost a lifetime of like you're in shock as much as Ichigo's in shock with all of this stuff, and
Yeah.
it's like, what is going on? And then you want to see the next episode, and I was almost tempted to, go online. I'm like, should I do
know.
it? Should I watch the next episode?
The
And I'm like,
temptation is great.
yeah.
The thing is, I
imagine
don't expect the
me
next
watching it
episode
with
to really.
No choice.
Yeah, I really have a feeling like the next episode's not really gonna delve into that
It's not.
mind-blowing revelation. Okay, yeah. I mean, they
It's
gotta
They
lick their
tried.
wounds for a bit.
Yeah.
Gotta lick their wounds for a bit, but yeah, that's oh boy, I really want to.
So I was thinking of Uryu. That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're gonna like him and Ichigo are gonna have an interesting conversation about that. Yeah, by the way, so my mom is apparently a Quincy. Can you help me out with this?
I guess I'm a Quincy too. I guess we Quincy homies.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're Quincy's now. We're Quincy. We're in Quincy together.
Another question I had is Ichigo the first like Soul Society Quincy like hybrid person? Does that make him stronger than anyone else? And that's why this ultimate grand villain put him on the list of that, because there might be more other Quincy Soul Society hybrid people.
Well, no, I think they probably put him on the list because obviously he was using hollow powers, he was using his full bring, he was using soul, like he was a soul reaper too. So yeah, I mean that would put that just right there would put you on a special list because I don't know if I can
Yeah.
defeat you. You know what I mean?
He
So
may have had an inkling that he had Quincy powers, but didn't know if they had been unlocked.
I don't know.
Clearly, no. He clearly straight up knew because he's the one that mentioned you don't know anything about your mother.
Yeah.
yeah, I
So
don't think
basically-
he
Clearly he
knew
already
he had
knew.
the potential. At the
I don't
very
think I think what we're talking about is Ichiko doesn't know, and I think he doesn't
No,
know.
Ichigo had no idea.
Yeah, each.
I mean,
no.
I mean, again, he's got all these 3 other powers that he's, been juggling this whole time. So it's kind of like, would he know? No, probably not. So, it is what it is, but
So basically, what you're saying is this villain faction all watched Bleach all the way up to this point, and they said, "Oh, he's the main protagonist. You know what? Let's put him on a special list."
he's like the bad guy in Dragon Ball Daima. He does like a recap.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like that. watching the reruns.
Guys, I
Getting
just
on
did
the
a
old GotTube.
guys,
recap.
guys. I just did a segue.
He sure did.
Yeah.
But
That's good.
Laser, did you have any final things to say about this episode of Bleach?
I actually don't. I think we covered it pretty well.
All right, cool. Good stuff, yeah. So, Dragon Ball Daima. We got 3 episodes to talk about. Though we did talk about the first one a little bit. But yeah,
it's
here
the,
comes the
the
recap
actual
of the recap of the recap.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Can I wish for the Dragon Balls to have this recap go faster?
No, in fact, the monkey
That's
paw
not
pearls,
within my power.
It will actually go longer.
Potentially. Right, so as mentioned in our previous conversation, things get kicked off in Dragon Ball Daima when a new demon king is appointed, King Goma. He's a little guy, and he's a firecracker. And he starts getting immediately concerned that whoever defeated Majin Buu and Babidi could come to the demon realm and wreck things up. So what does he do? He goes to the Earth realm, like to Universe 7, and gets the Dragon Balls and wishes them all to be children, which is Goku and his friends that defeated Majin Buu to be children, and had to clarify because the dragon was like, you gotta clarify this. Okay, first graders. Okay, what about the kids? Make them babies. Babies.
Poor Goten and Trunks.
They are not allowed to grow up. It's Peter
They
Pan.
got their first growth spurt in forever in Dragon Ball Superheroes, and now they're babies again.
Nope. Back to babies. Gohan is nowhere to be seen though. Throughout this entire I'm gonna spoil it. Throughout this entire show, Gohan only shows up in this flashback with the Buu Saga stuff. He does not show up to Trunks' 9th birthday party. And maybe that's why he doesn't get turned into a kid. I really wanted to see like a scene where he's been turned into a kid. He's like doing some study. He was like, what the? Because he helped defeat Majin Buu. Are you saying he didn't help defeat Majin Buu?
And his mom just enrolls him in first grade again. You're getting that education that you lost out on.
The entire time I was watching the show, I was waiting for a plot twist of, oh, he was training with the Kais, and so he was protected. And no, he just was not around.
Gohan come to save the day? Not in modern Dragon Ball.
So for the movie.
There was that movie. But that's still really Piccolo's movie.
Yeah.
Still has a good moments for Gohan, though.
I mean, Gohan Beast is a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, everybody at Trunk, all the main Dragon Ball characters that are at Trunks' 9th birthday party get turned into children or babies if they were already children. Also Dende up at the Dende up at the lookout, and Mr. Popo. Dende's I said it again. Dende is a baby now. Can't do anything with the Dragon Balls because of that. The Dragon Balls will not work anymore.
I love the tiny horns on Mr. Popo's head.
He's a baby. Yeah, the tiny horns on little Popo. And Yeah, Goma and his right-hand guy, Dogesu, he, who happens to be the brother of the
This is
Supreme
such a
Kai.
freaking hand.
Yeah.
He has read way too much Shakespeare.
He takes, he takes Dende back to the demon realm. I don't know, for reasons.
Yeah, they had a
just to make
really old Namekian with him to help them do their thing because the Dragon Balls weren't even
Yeah.
ready. But this guy just like, oh,
this
no,
old
I'll turn him on for you.
Namekian never.
He's never gonna give you up.
Exactly. And he can not only summon the Dragon Balls from wherever they are, he can also immediately recharge them. That's broken.
This guy's definitely something.
Now they're doing that in the Universe 7 in this realm because it's a lot harder to get the Dragon Balls in the Demon realm where they're guarded by these super powerful warriors.
The Tamagami.
Yeah. They're serious business.
I thought they were
Big
called the
super robot
Tamagotchis.
guys.
Yeah.
Tamagotchi. Nice.
Would the translation of their name include the word friend? Your friends that guard the Dragon Balls. Maybe. So all the characters you know and love, except for Gohan and Videl, I guess. Everybody loves Videl, right?
Yeah.
So all the Dragon Ball characters at the party and those on the lookout, they've all become small. And
Kid Roshi is hilarious for the 5 minutes.
I love Kid Roshi. I wish there was more Kid Roshi. Jordan Dash Cruz does an incredible Kid Roshi that is perfectly inspired by Mike McFarlane's delivery. It's like, oh my gosh, it totally sounds like a young Mike McFarlane Roshi. This is beautiful. Also, he's macking on the help, who are all adults, by the way. And he's a first grader.
Where's Kendrick when
He
you
just
need?
wants to date his teacher.
Yeah. Yeah. And the help is like, surprisingly, like, oh, that's cute. But no. Vegeta's very upset at getting even smaller. So is Krillin.
Poor
It's
Krillin.
like, oh, we're small. It's like, Krillin, you've always been small. Hey!
But I'm smaller.
Still smaller. And Bulma is surprisingly okay with it. She's like, oh, wow, look at how nice my skin is.
Of course. That's
You know
a
what?
Bulma reaction.
Since this takes place before Super, one could argue that this experience maybe is the reason why she decided to go on the anti-aging adventures with Dragon Balls in the future.
You know, that actually makes a lot of sense.
It really does. Also, I suppose it's a fairly important detail that Kaioshin and Kibito Kai, they've been separated back into Supreme Kai and Kibito. So they explained that if Buu eats somebody, and he learned this in the Buu saga when Vegeta and Goku had the earrings and they were fused, and they got eaten by Buu, and then they got separated inside of Buu. So, but they're back to being fused in Dragon Ball Super, right?
They are. This is a very odd choice that they've made here.
It's not the only thing that's gonna make it really hard to say whether or not this is canon.
I'd say that it is, but it's Dragon Ball and canon are kind of.
It's just a vague idea. Pretty much.
If you're obsessing too hard over canon with Dragon Ball, you're just going to make your head hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me how I know.
Right. So Goku and friends, they are small, and Supreme Kai suggests that they could go to the demon realm if they use the ship that he came on, though it's pretty busted up, and lo and behold, Bulma's like, nah, I can fix it. And she can, but she does get a little bit of help by getting a look at somebody else's spaceship, though he is very insistent that it's a plane that can go through space. Okay.
The arrival of the man, the myth, the Han Solo.
It's Glorio! Previously seen kind of slinking around in the shadows while the bad guys were discussing their plans. He seems to be on a
Definitely-
mission to bring Goku and some of his friends to the demon realm to defeat Goma. Convenient.
Guy's
Right?
standout character for the show, I think.
He is, and I really love Aaron Dismuke's performance as him.
Oh, absolutely steals the show.
Yeah, fantastic job. Yeah,
He's rather convenient.
they're
You can
rather
get him there.
convenient, and immediately Supreme Kai's like, I don't
This is
know if we
pretty
should
sus.
trust this guy. But Bulma asks, can I take a look at your ship? Get an idea how to fix this one, because his plane is too small to carry everybody. And Vegeta wants to go, Piccolo wants to go, Supreme Kai and Goku want to go, so does Bulma. And I guess Kibito kind of wants to go. He's just kind of feeling obligated to go. But that's too many people, along with Glorio. And Vegeta's even like, you could fit one more child.
You must reduce your party to venture forth.
Oh, man. Really, really entertaining little Vegeta. Goku's trying to get a
Paul
hang...
Castro Jr. nails that.
Yeah, Paul Castro Jr., previously known as Craig in Invisible Fight Girl. How's
Yes.
that? Yeah, he's fantastic as mini Vegeta. Just the perfect embodiment of...
He sounds like a younger
Anger.
Christopher Sabat. It's amazing.
It is quite impressive. Quite impressive. Yeah, so Goku's trying to get a handle of being small again, and he's having some trouble, and he's all like, guys, I can't fly really well, and Piccolo's like, yeah, well, get better. It's like, well, why don't you try flying? He's like, okay, yeah, this is hard.
Not
Then
used
Goku
to it
gets
at
an
the,
idea.
small size.
Right around the time they order dinner, and poor Kibito.
He is
He's
just a
just
bus
being-
boy.
Just being the errand boy. Just flying to get the takeout, taking Bulma from place to place.
His
'Cause
name is
he's
now Jeeves.
one of the only ones that can fly well enough to handle the situation. This is when you should call Gohan if he's not small.
So here's what I don't understand, because Kibito's just doing teleportation. Goku, you could do that too.
Yeah, but maybe his body can't figure it out yet.
That's a possibility. He doesn't try, though.
True. Instead, he decides to go get his old friend, the Power Pole. And where's the Power Pole right now? Oh, it got lent to Master Roshi, who's currently using it to hang up his
A
laundry.
hilarious bit of continuity
underwear.
fixing, because that pole is between Korin's place and Kami's place all the way through the Cell Saga. But in the Majin Buu arc, it is just not there. And fans have been going, where was it? Well, apparently it was just at Master Roshi's that whole time.
Oh, thanks for pointing that out. Now that you mention it, yeah, that pole was there like a fire pole for that whole time.
Yeah, that's how Goku got up there the first time.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Roshi is just having the time of his newly young life. Getting out nice clothes, posing. He's like, hey, Goku, how you doing? Where's my power pole? I don't know. And the turtle has this guilty look on his face, like, oh no. Wait till he finds
Turtle
out he's
being
using
useful
it.
for the first time in forever.
Wait till he finds out that it's hanging Master Roshi's underwear. Goku doesn't care about that.
No, he
Goku
doesn't.
doesn't care about that at all. So he gets the power pole back. Also, he does visit Korin to try and find the power pole. And Korin's like, why don't you use the flying Nimbus? It's like, no, I can fly. I can fly. Maybe you should have used the flying Nimbus, Goku.
Maybe he should have. Should have. Didn't.
Don't know if he could take it to the demon realm, though, so probably better that he figured out how to fly and fight. In the
Probably.
body. And as he's trying to figure this out, at one point he's like, not quite reaching a pillar at the lookout, and then he does a different attack, and he hits it. It's like, yeah, I hit it! Oh, uh-oh.
Oops.
What are you doing over
Good
there,
job,
Goku?
Goku.
Nothing.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Totally fine. Yeah. So the first group leaves with Glorio, and it's just Goku and Supreme Kai. And they go visit Master Warp, who's very picky about who comes and goes, and also don't make fun of him. And don't call him a goldfish.
A very sensitive goldfish.
Very sensitive goldfish. Also, when you go through Master Warp, it's not a fun time.
It's a dimensional toss-up.
Just, wow. It does not go well for Goku. But they get to the demon realm. They end up in the third demon realm. There are 3. They are connected, but currently the holes that connect them are sealed. So the only way to transfer between them is using Master Warp, and you have to have authorization. And he only has authorization to go to the third one because allegedly he's doing a job for the king of the third demon realm. Allegedly.
They're sealed with something called the Shield of Light.
Yeah. Pretty inconvenient. But it's also intended to keep the demons from coming to the Earth realm and going between the realms. You might figure there's some level of classism going on in the demon realm.
Quite a bit, yes.
It honestly isn't very much explored in this show.
Not as
probably
much as
could have
I'd
done
like.
more with that.
It's got a little bit, like, you know, the first demon worlds is the high society. The third demon world is the ruffians. Second's kind of like the middle class.
Yeah, the third demon world. Well, you got to be careful where you decide to rest for the night.
Someone might take your ride.
Yeah, they might. And they do so very pettily after losing a fight that they initiated. You know, they're just trying to get a bite to eat. I do not want to know what those burgers are made of.
It's best if we don't know, I think.
Moral
Probably
reality.
some bugs, to be honest, given how everything else works in this world.
I don't know. There's some kind of meat on there. I suppose there could be some
Bug
large
meat.
bugs, but yeah. There seems to be
Not that
something
Goku care.
akin to cheese.
It's Soylent
Yeah,
Green.
yeah.
Why do they
Soylent
call them
Green.
burgers in the demon realm?
It's a good question.
Isn't it
Goku eats
though?
them just the same.
Oh yeah, and
He doesn't seem to mind them.
no, he complains that I didn't get to eat all of the dinner. That he ate a whole bunch of the takeout. He's like, I didn't get enough of the takeout, so I need 3 burgers.
Goku's stomach strikes again.
Yep. So, little bar brawl, and that is the first real fight in these 3 episodes. And it's great. It's really
it's
fun
gorgeous.
seeing Goku fight
It's
with
gorgeous,
the power pole
yes.
and do creative things like eating while fighting and taking the trays and hitting people with it. Yeah, it's great. It is, however, really awkward place to stop, which is exactly what would happen if you went to see the theatrical screening of these first 3 episodes. So once again, Toonami follows the trend of, oh, did other people take a break? I guess we'll take one too. I'm looking at you,
these first
Zom
3 episodes
100.
have just been, oh man.
Yeah.
Always the first 3 episodes of Daima.
There's always a break after 3. You only get 3, and then you get more eventually.
Really feel like the 4th episode would have been a better place to take a little break.
Yeah, I agree with
Maybe.
you on that.
Yeah.
Or even just the 2nd episode. But
I could see it.
digress.
It'd be more cliffhangery, but it works.
They do have to haggle for a room because they don't got a lot of money, and the guy tries to rip him off, and he's like, "Now, don't you be trying to rip me off now." He's like, "Hey, you two okay with one room?" Yeah, we're kids. It's whatever. We'll sleep on whatever. But yeah, the plane, I say question marks, has been stolen by the end of that encounter. And I guess that's what happens when you tick off some people at a bar that you just met. Even though you whooped their butts, they can still steal your stuff if you're not paying attention.
If only it was a capsule, we could have just taken it with us. It would have been safe.
Exactly. And
We just
currently,
need to take Capsule Corps outreach into the demon world. That's what I'm hearing.
you know, I wouldn't put it past Bulma.
I wouldn't either.
Wouldn't put it past her. But yeah, that is the first 3 episodes of Dragon Ball Daima, essentially. It's fun.
Yeah.
I quite enjoy it. I think the new actors are doing fantastic. Younger.
It's really nice to
versions
hear
of
Stephanie
these
Nadolny
characters.
again. That's
It
my
is.
big happy takeaway from this, because she's fantastic as
think
Keikoku.
it's her best performance ever.
I agree with you on that.
Mm.
And
Not
if
that
you
she
want to
was
know
ever
more about
not
her,
good. Yeah, we got an interview with her that we did before Dragon Ball Daima came to Toonami.
it was a sign.
It was. It was the signs were getting ready for us.
Yeah. That's it's nice how that worked out.
Absolutely.
Very nice. It's just nice that it's here and we can enjoy
It's nice
it.
it's
with
here. It's Dragon
the
Ball.
Toonami
It's
peeps.
fun. It's bouncy, energetic, and good times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got any thoughts, JP?
Not really. Just like what everybody else said, is like, it's a fun show. I ain't got nothing really much to add, but yeah, it's a lot of the voice actors are doing a fantastic job, and yeah, just a fun overall fun show.
For sure. Have you seen much of it or any of it before?
I just started it.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is my first time watching.
You're in for a good time. Yep.
I agree. It's a fantastic run.
Good times. Steven, you have any thoughts on these episodes?
I like it. Yeah, I like it. It's fun. I would say wholesome at times. But it doesn't,
Sure.
the first 3 episodes, you don't see that much of the darkness of the side of what they're going to get into, but it feels like you're like a in third grade getting in trouble with your friends. It's like, yeah,
Yes.
we can do this
That's a
stuff.
great comparison.
It's like, yeah, we can do this stuff. We're third graders. We can take on the world and do all this stuff and fight the Tamagotchis and all that stuff. And you know they're gonna do that eventually and wish they were Dragon Balls because Goku's gonna do that. But I'm like, you know what? It's fun. It feels like some epic little thing that you're going on summer vacation, you're getting in trouble with your friends, you're doing all the fun stuff, and by the end of it, you're all grown up, and it's like, okay, we had a fun time.
So basically, Rugrats then.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rugrats, and then it's
no.
all grown up for the rest of it.
It's little
Right.
sailings. Y'all know
Well,
little
to-
sailings, right? Yeah. I really like that Doc Morgan's doing the opening narrations. Like that's a nice throwback with the classic narrator
Absolutely.
voice. And it's just kind of amusing that outside of the first episode where he gets to play Piccolo and adult Vegeta, Christopher Sabat like has no roles in this other than Korin. Kind of wild.
Yeah. Very
Fine,
unusual
that's
for a Dragon Ball
wild.
dub.
More shout outs. I think Taylor Murphy's fantastic as Bulma. She doesn't really sound like a younger Monica Rial, like How Can You? But she does sound convincingly like a young Bulma. Not quite sure how it works, but it's working.
It works well, yeah.
Tom Laughlin as Goma is just delightful.
Goma
his line
is an
delivery.
absolute blast. I watched this whole thing with my buddy Archangel over in the Simul of Saints, and Goma was his favorite.
Totally understandable. Very, very good stuff. I wish we had gotten more of Little Mr. Satan.
That would have been great.
Well, what little he did, Corey J. Phillips was wonderful. Good stuff.
I would want to see those side characters, Master Roshi,
Yeah.
Mr. Satan, just going through the town, just trying to figure out life as little kids. And can they do the stuff they can, do as adults as a little kid? I mean, seeing Master Roshi ogling at every woman that he sees, and it's like, what does he feel at that age as a kid? It's like, this guy thinks he's in the prime of his life. He's out to go on dates and everything. I'm like, dude, you're like in third grade. Stop it.
Hire a babysitter, Roshi.
Seriously.
Okay, actually, no, don't do that.
Yeah,
Don't
maybe
do that.
not.
Don't do that.
Hello, babysitter.
I really wish we got more of the young versions of these other characters that don't go on the journey. Just flashing back to them a little bit would have been fun. But sorry to say, that does not happen. Bums me out. One more shout out. Nia Celeste as young Supreme Kai does a lot of heavy lifting with the dialogue in these particular episodes, and I think she's doing a fantastic job. Just all around, super solid cast, great mix of new and old talent.
Fantastic
Very,
way
very
for
good done.
up and comers to get noticed by a wider audience. I love that.
True. I do like that. I like that because Dragon Ball Super had a ton of new characters, so that they could bring in other actors. But all these other characters, they've been voiced by the same people for forever. So, and a lot of them have all just Christopher Sabat. I like to see this. I think that was a good choice. We've all heard Christopher Sabat try to do young Vegeta. It's a choice.
It is a thing that has existed in the past.
I mean, it's kind of fun, but oh boy, I would get tired of it real fast. Oh yeah, things are just getting underway. We have one more major character to introduce in the next episode. And then the crew will more or less be assembled, except Piccolo, Vegeta, and Bulma, and Kibito. They won't be able to come until the spaceship is repaired. And sorry, you're gonna have to wait on them. They certainly do add something to the dynamic when they get there.
They absolutely do. There's some real fun stuff just around the corner.
Uh-huh. I'd say that gets us up to date on Dragon Ball Daima, which means we could continue recapping it maybe once a week. We'll see. But not a lot happens in any given episode of this show, so it might be better to do two
The
at a
episodes
time,
are very much experiential. They're exploratory. They're not super plot deep.
I mean,
yeah. But in
I
that
mean, one thing-
respect, since they're episodic for the most part, it does make sense to talk about them individually.
That's true.
Go ahead. Paul.
I think one thing that you're leaving out though is the animation. The animation is beautiful in this series.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
It's-
and that
very
Yeah.
that's one of those things where I'm like, if you're going to continue Super down the road, this is how I want you to do it, because this is exactly what we want to see. We don't want to see that trashy animation you had for the last movie. Like, I get that we want to try to use 3D animation with regular animation. I understand you want to try that.
Superhero looked, but
Yeah, superhero was fine.
I didn't like it at all.
I
The
wouldn't
animation
want
was
a series to look like that.
No, I wouldn't want to see
No.
something like that. But for a one-off,
Yeah,
movie,
not
it was
serious. Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I would rather have seen Gohan's transformation with this animation than what it
Well,
was in
yeah.
Superhero. Honestly,
sure
because I think it would
yeah.
look so much
I don't-
better.
I don't know if it would look any less ridiculous, but
It'd still be pretty ridiculous. But I mean, that's Dragon Ball for you.
Gohan and his Trolldar farm. Well, I can't
Hey, we
talk.
gotta
I
read-
said troll doll.
We need to
Enunciate.
redeem Gohan. Okay, just let him redeem himself, please.
I mean, he did. That was that whole movie.
Yeah.
Well, exactly, that's what
that
I'm
was
saying.
His redemption.
That is his redemption, and I can't wait till he whoops everybody's ass in Super.
Jeez.
Don't
Well,
think.
what about
that's
your
gonna
son?
be
Oh,
what
I don't
happens.
know. Goten's a little young for this tournament. I mean, your other son. Goku ain't never gonna live that one down.
Well, he's not going to say that.
Nope.
Goku's not going to say that. He's going to be like, "Ooh, fresh meat to play with." That's what he's going to do, because now Gohan's going to be more powerful, if not at least on the same level as him. So it's going to be like, okay. I mean, honestly, that's kind of what. If I'm right, if
Come
I'm wrong,
on,
that's kind of.
Gohan, transform into the new form and fight me. No, Dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on,
Dad,
Gohan.
I've got a symposium to get to.
A suppose what?
No, all he's got to do is just sit there and be like, "I'm not taking care of Pan anymore." That's going to piss off Gohan.
That's Piccolo's job.
Yeah, that's Piccolo's job. So what?
No,
That's,
listen,
that's like.
He's the good grandpa.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
You know
All
what?
right.
He could be fucked up and just be like, "Oh, by the way, your girlfriend's dead."
You mean his wife?
His wife, girlfriend, whatever.
Oh, she been wifed. All the classic signs of being wifed in a Dragon Ball series.
Oh yeah,
That's
no,
true.
that's definitely a wife.
Oh yeah.
Thank
She
God
used to
she's
be
not
able
like
to do
Chi-Chi.
really cool things. What a shame. I still like her though. Just wish she showed up more.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
And grow those pigtails back. Those were baller. Anyway, that's that catches up on those things. So I suppose we got some time. If you gentlemen want to give your thoughts on Lazarus as a whole.
I'll let him go first.
The floor is yours, JP.
Oh, okay. I like the show. It's obviously the best Toonami original so far, in my opinion. Um, it definitely beautifully animated. Um, and the whole plot, hooked me up from beginning to end. The only problem I had with this series is probably it's been a trend with these Toonami series is that they rush the plot by like the final few episodes. They don't give it a chance to let the story fresh out and breathe at times. I wish we had more in-depth character developments for each character, so we could get to invest in them more. Um, but as since that's been a trend since with these other Toonami originals, I think it could have been better if it had at least been 20 plus episodes, something like that, just to better pace and slow down the story as it progresses. But other than that, definitely a great show. I don't care what Anime News Network saying it's the worst show ever. Of course,
No,
of
that's
course,
some.
nah, that's bullshit. To be honest,
Man,
uh,
if that's the one of the worst anime series of 2025, I really want to know like what their criteria is because holy shit,
exactly.
that
That's what
is
I'm saying.
that is by far the worst if it is even close to.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like I don't know what they're smoking. Um, Something I don't want to smoke at all if they're gonna think like that.
Hmm.
But other than that, yeah, it's definitely one of the best Toonami originals so far. I wish we could get a second season. I'm hoping this ain't the final season. It sounds like it is, but I really like to see the story play out. You know, because I think there's enough story to enough things to keep it going. But if this is like one and done, I think they nailed it right out of the park.
Hmm. Paul, please tell us your thoughts.
Here, let me stretch for a minute. This is gonna be good.
Just getting ready to cook.
So first thing that I have to say, like, this is the first anime series that I think that hooked me just with the clues. So I think we were kind of, well, I think we were right on like pretty much every clue had a meaning. So everything that was like, we kind of were like, well, what does this mean? What does this mean? They mentioned it. So it was interesting to me how like this series was trying to bring itself together at the end. And I mean, I'm sure you guys saw my tweet on Saturday night, Sunday morning. I'm like, holy shit, it stuck the landing. We didn't have any
It did.
robots. We didn't have any mech suits. We just had a story that ended well and set up for a season 2. Um I don't I keep hearing this thing about them rushing. I don't feel like I don't want to say that they rushed it because I don't feel like they rushed it. And maybe that's because I've seen them rush all these other series, so it's refreshing to kind of have them slow it down. I can understand why people might think that it was rushed, but definitely the character development could have been better. I'm hoping that maybe that was cut out a little bit because they didn't want to take away from this season 1 and make this part of season 2, because I'm going to be honest with you, if you're going to do a season 2 of this, they need to do more character development. And that needs to be a little bit more
Yes.
in that
Yes.
season 2. JP, I don't know if you heard that it was just going to be one season, but I don't think that's going to happen. Not
Yeah, I
it
heard it.
is
I heard it
it,
later down. Yeah.
The promo said it was the series finale, but as you may recall, previous interviews said they
Yeah.
were hoping that this would do well enough to get additional seasons. And I don't
I think
recall
Yeah.
if Ninja Kamui, when the first season ended, as we know it, I think they said series finale on that one too.
yeah.
Maybe?
So it might be. I see. Here's the thing. So now, don't get me wrong. Ninja Kamui did better on Max. It did better. It might have done. It might have been doing this. Lazarus might be doing the same on Apple, which is another thing that we're measuring as well.
Yeah, it's been doing real well there.
So
on
I
Apple TV.
can't say that it isn't doing what it's supposed to. It didn't do as well as Ninja Kamui did on Max, but it was still trending on Max. Also, I kind of take that with a grain of salt, because when they debuted Lazarus, they also had The Last of Us on Max. So
Mhm.
I mean, anything that
Mhm.
you put on Max while that's going on, not going to do well. So, and by the way, it still did trend when that was on. So, you got to give this show credit. It's one of the top 10 series that's been trending on Max through its whole season. So, I don't see this series not getting another season. I would honestly be shocked if this does not get another season. There again, I was shocked that they gave Ninja Kamui another season. Well, actually 2 seasons. So,
This has way
but
better setup for additional seasons.
yes. And that's the thing, like this show, well, it's like Cowboy Bebop. It's I think is going to become a acquired taste as the years go by. And as people watch this series, this might be something that people come back to every once in a while and say, "Wow, this was actually a better series than I thought it was." Clearly ANN needs to do that a couple times, because holy fuck, like I'm reading this review and I'm going, who the fuck is watching this series? Like, did you put darkening glasses on when you watch this and just listen to the audio? Like, what is this? Like, did you not see the choreography that went into this fucking series? Like,
Well, they're
A
not
part of
saying
me
that
is
any of
thinking,
that's bad. They're saying the
yeah, a
story
part
isn't
of me is,
good.
yeah, a
the
part of me
story's
is
not bad.
thinking they still have like Adult Swim anime bias,
Oh well,
but these,
I mean,
I th-
maybe.
Yeah, that track
yeah, that's my
record
kind of my
is not good.
conspiracy theorist. Yeah,
I hate to say it, but we're the only ones that got Jason. So I mean,
exactly.
are you like pissed off because you can't get an exclusive with Adult Swim? Is that what this is? Like, because
I don't
listen,
think that reviewer does interviews.
I'm not. Well, I'm obviously I'm joking about that, but it's to that point where you're like, well, then what the hell is the issue here? Because
I think
like,
a lot of people got hyped to go, oh, it's Cowboy Bebop 2, and it's not Cowboy Bebop 2. It's its own
no,
thing.
and if people went into
No.
that thinking that it was going to be
No,
Cowboy Bebop 2, then they're idiots. Honestly,
exactly. Yeah,
The market.
I mean, if you look at those tweets from that tweet that we put out and said, what were your thoughts? About 80 to 90% of that was all positive. All of it was positive. And the other 10%, at least half of it, if not more, was fucking trolls. You can just tell by the tweets. Like, it's not
yeah,
even like, it's so obvious when you look at some of these tweets, you're like, okay, guys, stop trying to quote unquote review bomb, even though this isn't a place to review it, on X. Okay, you're okay, you'll be fine, But it's that series, this is one of the best series of 2025. I'm not saying it's the best
That's
series.
where I would definitely disagree with you. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's that good.
I think it's good. I would give this an 8 out of 10. I think it's that good. It stands on its own. It has a great story, contrary to what ANS thinks. And it sucks you in. It literally sucks you in to try to be like, what is this? Wait, I saw this. What is this? Wait a minute, was that Skinner that I just saw? Like, hello? You know,
Turns out it
like
was.
it's not it was, and like you're sitting there, and then that's the other thing too, is if you've watched the whole series as a whole, you get the satisfaction at the end of holy shit, I was actually right about some of this stuff. So it had the action, it had the story, it sucks you in, and it gives you the satisfaction of the at the end of, oh my god, I actually think I was right about some things. What else do you need in a show? I mean, what do I need to put? Do I need Ichiko in here? Do you want me to put Ichiko and have him do a bankai? Would that help you? Like, I don't know what else you want. Like, this is the best
It's
Adult
got
Swim
some
show
pacing
since
issues,
Shenmue.
so it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But
This
it's
is
very good.
this is the best and Adult Swim. Well, I should say, yeah, Adult Swim original anime show since Shenmue. That's where I'm at. That's exactly where I'm at.
I
And
agree.
they did everything correctly.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying, look, I'm not saying it's perfect because it's not. I'm not making this a 10 out of 10 because it's not a 10 out of 10. They definitely didn't do some things that they should have done. But is it the worst anime of the year or even
No,
close?
not at
Hell
all.
no.
Not even. No.
Hell
No,
no.
no.
Hell no. And anybody that says that, like, give me
We
a
will
good
be
reason why it's
questioning
not.
your credentials.
Exactly. And
I actually
you
saw
know,
someone say something to the effect of, if you're giving the show less than a 6 out of 10, you're absolutely nuts. If you're giving it more than an 8 out of 10, you're absolutely nuts. I kind of tend to agree with that. I'd say anywhere between a 6 and an 8 is a reasonable score for this show.
yeah, and I think
agree.
that's correct.
Yeah.
I think a
Depending
7.
on
I mean,
what
a
you're
7.
looking for, I'd personally give it a 7.
7 to 8 is, I think, where everybody's mostly landing. If I had to be honest, I think if people are bombing this, it's because they wanted it to be Cowboy Bebop, and that is not what this was supposed to be. Nor was it advertised at that. It was advertised as the person that did Cowboy Bebop is doing the show. So it's like, yes, that's the only connection. It's not going to be Cowboy Bebop. If you want that, go watch it on Crunchyroll. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm happy with how this turned out. I think this is a great show. I think number one, this if this does not get another season, that will blow my mind. Not only is it set up to do another season, but you could do another season. Like, there's so much story and plot there that you can do this. And you already gave us what season 2 could be, exploring this other project that Axel was involved in. Like, I want to know what that's all about. And I think that would be great for season 2. I think it would also be great to explore the other characters' stories, because we got a small taste of everybody. We didn't get
Except
like
for Doug, we didn't get much
Yeah.
of Doug other than this was his old professor who stood up for him.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would like to see a little bit more. But yeah, so that's number one. Number two, you know, if Adult Swim's going to compete in this anime environment that is set up, that's mainly streaming, you got to take shows like this when they're good and make more seasons. Ninja Kamui, whether we liked it or not, which by the way, Ninja Kamui was not as good as Lazarus in my opinion. If you're gonna do that for Ninja Kamui, there's no reason you can't do it for Lazarus. And I think for a show that was apparently supposed to just be a Max show, was that what Jason said, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, it was originally
Yep.
intended for Max. And
I mean, yeah, I mean, what more do you want here? It went on Toonami.
it's absolutely
Go ahead.
wild to me that Warner Brothers Discovery was developing a show with Watanabe, and it might not have aired on Toonami. Like, what?
Yeah, that would have been
What?
pretty nuts.
Yeah.
That would have been
Well-
gnarly.
Yeah, I was going to.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing. So like I'm let's take Toonami out of the equation for a second, okay? Let's not even include Toonami, but yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, even Adult Swim.
Yeah, right. Not even
how
Adult
could you
Swim.
not play this on Adult
How
Swim?
could you not put this on TV? Period.
Yeah,
Like
true.
that is the formula that has been working for you outside of the bigger shows like Last of Us. Like putting it on TV first and then streaming it has been successful for you.
I thought
keep
Last of
doing
Us
what is
did air on
successful for you.
HBO.
Oh, did it?
Like-
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Did it air first and then go on Max?
It did.
Yeah,
It
it's same
did?
day.
Okay. Okay, so then even more of a reason. See what I'm saying? Like even more of a reason why this proves my point. Like it's successful for you. Do it. The only other thing that not Adult Swim, I'm sorry, Warner Brothers Discovery should be doing, and they still have not done it yet. And they said when they first brought Max out, HBO Max, whatever the fuck the name is anymore, they said specifically in that original video press release that they did for the streaming service, and I quote, "There will be live channels on our streaming service as a separate package combined with Max." They have not done that yet. They've teased it with live sports, and I think CNN, I don't remember if it, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong. CNN was more like
I don't know.
they would I think they were like they would bring in like all of a sudden you would just see CNN news story pop up every once in a while or something, or maybe
Yeah,
it
I'm not
was live
sure
on
if it's
Max.
I'm not sure if it's an exact mirror of the CNN
Yeah,
television channel.
Yeah,
I don't think
let
it
me pick you up
was.
on that. Paul, let me pick you up on that because Max has recently added the HBO channels.
To
So
the
they got
to the
HBO,
Max.
HBO 2, HBO Zone, Signature. Yeah, they just recently added those channels.
So you can
Okay.
watch those channels on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
not
so
just
so
on
here
demand.
so that's the
Interesting.
thing that kills me is it's like, so if I can do that, why don't I have why can't I watch Turner channels?
Well, what they intend to do with the cable networks is probably a barrier to that.
Yeah.
I don't
Maybe
know
not.
because I feel like
I mean, it's still all owned by Warner Brothers Discovery. even if they
yeah,
split it
it's
off.
I understand what
Yeah.
they're trying to do, but I also sit there and I go,
Oh, it's a terrible idea.
I don't know if it's well, so I don't think it's a terrible idea as long as you're not gonna like rip the guts out of every news network, I'm sorry, channel that you have on Turner and Discovery. Like if you're not gonna rip every channel apart, then I'm not gonna have a problem with that. If you're just gonna like, if that's your intention is to make shit tons of cuts, no, I don't think that's gonna work for you. I really don't. And you know, it kills me because like some of those channels are actually going to be still part of Max, while other channels are going to be into this thing. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, and it makes what really confuses me is it's like, okay, Adult Swim, for example, you're really high in Adult Swim. You really like doing things with Adult Swim shows. We've seen that with Max. So why would you then encompass that into the TV landscape instead of trying to put that in with Max because that's what you're doing a lot? It doesn't mean that you can't play those shows on Adult Swim because that would be stupid. They're Adult Swim shows. But it's one of those things where it's like, can we do this correctly? Like, are you thinking intelligently here? I get the whole CNN thing. I get you're gonna do a whole again, you're gonna try a whole streaming service with that, if I remember correctly. But like, bring these channels together with Max. Stop with this bullshit. Just do it. Because guess what? Your linear channels, if it's connected to Max, will go up in viewership. It's going to happen because it's on the same service. You know why? Because then people don't have to buy cable.
Yeah, but I think they don't want to mess up the revenue stream that they're getting from the cable people, because if they
Well, that's
have
true.
deals with them and they're like, "Oh, we're going to stream it on them," those guys will leave. They can either sue them or do some type of other legal stuff.
Well,
As,
There may be
hey,
some rights involved. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
and plus, anyway, all the money they're getting from cable, yes, it is going down. Yes, it will eventually fall. That's enough money to still keep going and still go for
Yeah.
like 10 to 20, maybe 30 years down the road to continuously use that money and get that money, while streaming, as of right now, is, while profitable, people just use it to watch the same old stuff and not too much of the new stuff. And it's like,
Yep.
what are you going to do? You can see that with Netflix, with a ton of shows being given first seasons, but not second seasons. And it's like,
Well,
what are you doing? Netflix promised live stuff, and they're doing it with sports because that's their first. That's a lot of people's first. I would say entry point for a lot of live TVs, streaming stuff on the platforms, because it's easy enough to do it. The rights are probably hard enough and cost a lot more money than live streaming TV, but if you're going to make it and make a live streaming thing, you're going to be shelling out a lot of money for a lot of different properties that they all have restrictions on, of like, oh, you can only play this thing 2 times a day. Oh, you can only play this thing, the whole day. There's a lot more rights involved than just buying 1 or 2 games. Disney promised to have, I don't know, live, but they promised to have channels for different stuff. I want to say Netflix promised that. Paramount, I believe, wanted to do that, and they might have their CBS News stuff. I mean, the only live, technically, streaming channels are their own channels. That's on Tubi, that's on Pluto TV, that's on everything else. And it's like, you can watch Nickelodeon almost all on air with every single thing, and they're giving it away free. And it's like, they're getting, they're probably not getting that much revenue, but they're getting a lot more eyes on that than probably with their other shows on Nickelodeon, actually. But they're getting a lot more money from people shelling out cable to watch that stuff in the background. And they don't know any better, because it's either people who have a higher age, I would say, older people that don't want to change onto the streaming stuff. And I totally understand that. And it's just people who don't know. You're probably getting a lot from businesses who just keep it on all day. You're getting a lot from older people. You just They're making so much money that way that streaming, while not profitable now, they're not going to take that risk to it. They're going to keep their properties and shell it out so they can make money that way until everything starts changing and going more towards streaming. And then you'll see it like dominoes. Everyone hops on the streaming train, and it'll just be like cable again.
Oh, it's already turning into that, honestly. The one thing that I've noticed, and this is, I mean, I know that we've kind of gone into a different discussion, but the one thing that I've noticed, at least with Spectrum, because that's what we have out here in Rochester, um, what they're the kind of deals that they're doing, which are like, I'm not going to pay $100 a month for goddamn cable service. They're doing this thing where you're getting what I think Max, Disney, and Hulu all free, technically, quotations free, in your cable package. So while I understand what you were saying, the thing is they're putting all this stuff in their packages already. So yes,
Yeah,
you can watch
absolutely. Yep.
yeah, you can watch all these TV channels, but guess what? Now because you did that, oh by the way, here is quote unquote the free streaming services we got for you as well that you now have subscriptions for. So that's also going on, but here's the other thing, and this is why I say like Max needs to do this. There are cable companies like, and I believe it was Comcast that I heard that's doing that. They're taking Cartoon Network, for example, taking it out of their normal package and making it an add-on. Or I heard another TV service, which this one blows my mind if it is true. It could just be false. But Adult Swim is its own separate thing. So if you turn on Cartoon Network, for example, during the day, you don't see it until Adult Swim comes on the air. So if that's true, which I don't know if it is, it just lends itself even more to if you're going to be doing if cable companies are going to be doing this with that, okay, fine, put it on Max because honestly, at that point, it just makes more sense. Then you're not paying an extra what $5 for a package that maybe has one network, you know. So that's kind of why I'm saying it. But it's also because getting back to Lazarus, you know, if it's encompassed into one thing, then I can watch Lazarus on Max instead of switching to a goddamn another app. That's the other thing. Like, by the way, Steven, I won't take offense to calling me old. Um, but in all seriousness, like, as someone at the age of now 41, because my birthday was the other day, mind you.
Yeah. We had the birthday trilogy over there. I'm now 40.
Yeah, we had the birthday trilogy. Like, I don't want to have to switch between apps to see stuff. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, I was used to switching channels, but I don't want to come out of an app and then go into another app. It's kind of why I actually like Disney Plus now because they have a lot of the Hulu stuff in Disney Plus. So if
you can add Hulu content to it for like an extra $1 and you got all of Disney and all of Hulu in the one app.
So like for example, if I'm watching because my son is obsessed with Moana, like if I turn on Moana, he goes to sleep. Now I just come out of the movie, go to my show like Bleach and I can watch it right there. You know what I mean? So it's like I want to have more synergy and I mean, we're starting to see a little bit of that with like the bundle that I have now. I have Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max all together in one package. It has
Same.
commercials, but you know what? I've been on this earth for 41 years. I'm used to commercials by now. I don't care.
As
long as it's not like
get up.
as long as it's not like what was Crackle, Sony's experiment into streaming. As long as it's not Crackle, where like I felt like every minute there was goddamn ads while I'm trying to watch insert show. Like as long as you don't do that, I'm fine. And typically, even with Max, I think there's like 2 commercial breaks. So that doesn't bother me at all. I'm good with it. And again, like if you're getting traffic to Max because people are watching insert show like Lazarus and it's getting you more subscribers, it's getting you more people coming to the service, why would you want to break that? It's the question that we're going to ask when ultimately they have to make the choice about Cartoon Network. It's coming. That's going to be the first domino to fall. The bigger question is going to be, what are you going to do with Adult Swim? You're not going to just go buy Adult Swim because it's one of your networks you pull a lot of shows from. So if you're pulling a lot of shows from it and you're doing a lot of productions for it that all end up on Max anyways, why would you get rid of it? You're not doing that with Cartoon Network. Do you make a 24-hour channel? Do you keep it how it is and it just stays dark until 6, 7 o'clock when it comes on? Like, that's going to be the biggest question, I think, coming up. And honestly, Adult Swim's going to have to, not Adult Swim, I would say Warner Brothers Discovery has to come to a choice. Are you going to finally pull the trigger and make Adult Swim 24 hours and invest in it properly like you should? And I'm starting to see you do by getting Bleach, by getting Family Guy back, by getting, getting Futurama is another example. Getting Dragon Ball Daima. Are you going to continue to invest on both sides of Adult Swim? Are you going to continue to invest in all of your originals, not just Adult Swim originals, but your anime originals as well? If that is what your vision is going, then what are you doing with this channel? See, people, I got knowledge. I know what I'm talking about. So, it's going to be interesting, Steven. I'm going to be fascinated where the gavel comes down, so to speak, on all of this, because, this TV landscape is going to crumble, but are you going to let things that are working crumble? That's going to be the bigger question.
And they will, for money. I mean, it takes a lot of money to run these shows, to run these studios, and they will say,
Right.
hey, let's cut it here. Cartoon Network will probably be the first one to fall. But that won't be the major thing. It will be something like something's going to happen with Cartoon Network, Nicktoon, Nickelodeon, or Disney Channel. One of those three, something's going to happen with that, and it's going to lead to the domino effect with all of them falling off. But then you have to see that Disney has already primed themselves with Disney Plus, that you can watch most of that stuff on there. You have Nickelodeon, who has stuff with Paramount, but they're already have with their fast channels on Pluto TV and such, that they're kind of primed for something, but they don't know what's next. Cartoon Network really has nothing to figure out what they're going to do, but I do fear within this new split off of the movie side and the cable side that they're going to look for money. They're going to find ways to cheapen up and cost cut, and as quote, well, we're going to look ways to innovate, to look for ways to see how we can be stronger, be leaner, and become a better company in the future, which means they're going to lay you off, they're going to cut these shows off, and they're going to say, hey, we already sold the studio in California because the real estate there was a little bit too expensive. We can move these things cheaper other places. We can have them do it online and freelance and all this other stuff. And they're going to put it on Max, and they're going to have shows on it every so often. They're going to say, oh, this is a Cartoon Network studio. Be aware of this, have fun. And it's like, it's not really, but people will watch it, and it's not going to do that well, but it's going to say, hey, we still have kids offering. You all want to watch this? We have the old shows here. And it's like, no, you really don't. But it's going to come down to money. And when things happen like that, while they still have enough money from linear cable and TV and everything, they're going to cut things really fast once they figure out that you have a lot of money in debt and you need to fix it fast.
I think they're going to use the Adult Swim model, honestly, because they can do a lot of stuff cheaply without spending a lot of money. I mean, anime, as much as we don't want to say that it can be done cheaply, it is done cheaply. It is done vastly cheaper than doing a major movie production. We know that. It's the whole reason why Lord of the Rings was made. The animated one.
Then why stop their What a Cartoon series in their, was it What a Cartoon for? No. It's one
cartoons.
Yeah, cartoons. Why?
Cartoons. Pilot project.
Why stop something like that to stop creating and innovating? Why do that when the Adult Swim side is already doing kind of that stuff with Rebecca Sugar's new thing, With the what was it? It's the three.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
it's
Steven,
the
Steven
elephant.
Universe.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
the elephant,
to
which
your
uses a
point,
bunch of Cartoon Network talent from prior years to make something for Adult Swim, which is an interesting choice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to kind of your point, Steven, I think what it is, it combines something that I said with what you just said, but it's more or less they paid all this money to get Family Guy back, to get King of the Hill, to get Futurama. So if we have these shows, why aren't we playing them at insert hour instead of this right here? So I mean, I'm sure that's what it is, because I've been doing this for a long time, and that's usually what they do is, oh, well, we have this whole King of the Hill catalog. Oh, by the way, the new season's on Hulu, so why don't we play the fuck out of this series, because people are going to tune back into Adult Swim to watch the original series. Um, let's put it on. I mean, I get that, I understand that, but yeah, the Cartoon Network side's going to be dead. I don't know what they do with that. The Adult Swim side, however, I mean, I don't see it. I don't
The
think
Adult
they would be
Swim
that
side's
dumb.
already mostly run on third-party content as it is, so as long as it
Yeah.
makes money and
Yep.
they can keep running those
Exactly.
Disney-owned shows, they're fine. The only
Yeah.
question is whether or not HBO Max will end up getting more of the original series and Adult Swim will be left high and dry on that front. But honestly, as long as they can keep Rick and Morty going, as long as they can keep Smiling Friends, they'll be fine.
It's
They
a good
won't be
sign when you.
interesting, but they'll be fine.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. It's an interesting yet telling story when you give a show like Ninja Kamui 2 seasons. That to me is kind of like, okay, now we're starting to invest, because there's
Well, the
kind of
other side
been
of that coin is, and we heard it from DeMarco himself, existing IP is a much easier sell than new ideas, and that's why we're getting 2 more seasons of Ninja Kamui, and we're
Right.
not announcing something completely out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I do think
Well,
we'll get another season of Lazarus, just
yeah,
because
I think so
it's a
too.
proven commodity,
Can we
and
get another season of Invincible
everybody's
Fight Girl then?
pretty satisfied. Well, unfortunately, that one didn't seem to catch on.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
No,
hoping.
I know it didn't. And honestly, like, again, I'm not the biggest fan of Hulu, though I will say I'm very impressed on how they've taken their live shows like WWE, Raw, and been successful making sure that
Raw's
it's
on
live every
Netflix,
week.
guy.
That's what I said. Yeah, WWE Raw is
Hulu.
live. Did I say Hulu?
You did.
Well, I meant Netflix. Anyways,
I kind of figured.
Mhm.
so Netflix, like, I'm impressed with how they've done live, because when they first put Raw on, it wasn't really good, and then they fixed
that
it.
first day was rough, but they
Oh,
did
it
fix
was
it pretty
rough.
quick.
They
So
did.
I'm impressed with what Netflix is doing. That's one of those things where I'm like, and it looked like it's going to work for Gumball. Putting it on a service that could do service for the show to get it more seasons. And unfortunately, Invincible Fight Girl will probably have to do that in order for it to get another season. And to be honest with you, it'll probably be even more successful if it is on one of those services, either Hulu or Netflix. So
If they ever even give it a chance to do it.
yeah, that's true. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I'm excited to see the future. I'm excited to see what we get. It's been since what I want to say late last year where we started to see Adult Swim getting these shows back and putting these, as you said, IPs back in the mix that, make Adult Swim what it is. And I think that's a good sign that Warner Brothers Discovery is doing that with Adult Swim, allowing them to go out and get these shows, because it there's pushback, but if it gets them money in the long run, then guess what? They're going to do it. And I think Adult Swim has proven that they can make money. I mean, hashtag Tsunami makes money. So, it is what it is. If that's where you're making a lot of that, I think it was like $1.4 billion that they made last year, off of TV revenue. Like, if you're making a huge chunk of that, like, obviously most of that's probably from sports, live sports and everything on TNT and whatever. But if you're making a good portion of that from Adult Swim, I don't see them stopping that. I don't see that happening. Cartoon Network to me right now is just an enigma. You're not doing it. Putting Gumbo on Hulu just, screams fuck Cartoon Network. So
that's just
I don't know.
crazy
I'm
to
just
me
so
because
confused.
they play Gumball like 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
So it better
And they're
at least
playing it-
also air on Cartoon Network. If it doesn't at least air on Cartoon Network after it's streamed on Hulu, I'm gonna be
It's
so
dead.
annoyed.
It's Cartoon Network is dead
Yeah.
if it doesn't play. And here's the other thing too. They're playing Gumball overseas on Cartoon Network. So it's like, hello? I understand you're putting it on Hulu, but hello? Are you putting it on Cartoon Network where it's supposed to be? Like, I at that point, I'm just going to be like, why does
It's also going to YTV Canada instead of their Cartoon Network.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm
think-
sure. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, don't get me wrong. They probably put it on Hulu because it made them millions and millions of dollars for Hulu to take it and play it. So, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing for Warner Brothers
No, it's a
Discovery.
good business move by all means. It's a very good business move. People are watching Gumball on Hulu. You put new Gumball on Hulu, it's gonna do well.
But if you want people to watch your network, you gotta put it on there.
This is also true.
Stupid. It's just stupid if you don't. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. What were you gonna say, JP?
Yeah, pretty much the gist of it is we got to see what this Warner Brothers split is going to look like. Because I'm hearing it's supposed to be split between the streaming and television. And what I was going to say is, I think Steven mentioned like Disney and Nickelodeon, like, and seeing is going to probably be the first dominoes to fall. And I agree with Steven. Like, Disney has a safety net, with Disney Plus. Paramount and Nickelodeon, it's iffy because Paramount doesn't utilize Paramount Plus at all, because a lot of their shows, whether it's from Nickelodeon or MTV or any other than networks, they don't get the next day treatment. But I do feel like Nickelodeon probably still has kind of a safety net. Cartoon Network doesn't have anything that can really back them up. And one of my suggestions was maybe they need to have like a next day on their shows on Hulu, because all we've been hearing from Warner Brothers Discovery is they failed to target the kids, and it feels like they gave it up on that, and it feels like Cartoon Network is probably going to fall because of that, which I hope is not the case, but it seems like it is. So I do feel like Cartoon Network should like have a partnership with Hulu instead, because Hulu can bring in the families the way Max couldn't. But yeah, a lot of the things right now, we just need a clearer conscious of what this split is going to be as this news progresses. Because it sounds like the split is. I was talking to my friends about this. It seems like Cartoon Network Studios get to make content for other platforms. Reason why we getting like Gumball on Hulu. It seems like they can make other content for like Prime Video or something like Apple TV. It sounds like that's what it's leaning towards, and hopefully it doesn't stop them from making content for Cartoon Network, but it sounds like Cartoon Network might have to pay the Cartoon Network studios to make shows for them exclusively. So that's what it's kind of sounding like right now. We don't know what the gist of it is. But yeah, it's like they really need to know what they're gonna do with this network. I think Adult Swim is gonna be safe regardless. Um, and you mentioned how King of the Hill, they already ended Checkered Pass, and now that hour, that 5 to 7 hour, is nothing but King of the Hill. So they're gonna be safe as long as they have those Fox tunes. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting these next couple of weeks and months.
You know, I was gonna say this to you too, JP. You had mentioned the other day, I think X, something about how like Disney, like I want to say like some of the Disney channels going away. It's weird because like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Spectrum made a deal to bring back
Yep,
some of the Disney channels. So I was like,
yep,
well, wait a minute.
and
I thought all these Disney channels were dead. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
yeah,
So it's like,
it's funny, man. I like we don't know. I still think XD is probably done because they already cut those channels internationally. They only got 3 networks left here in the US, Canada, and Poland. And I think Poland's gonna be the next one it is. But we don't know. I guess they still see value in it, you know. So we don't know
you
what's
know,
going on, bro.
I would go over to Disney and be like, psst, can we have the Tron show, please? If you're shutting down XD, can we have the Tron show, please?
Yep.
Just you know,
And
hey,
Motor City.
Older City.
yep, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to beat this anymore, but it's going to be very interesting to see how this goes, and uh, I don't even know what they're going to do. All I know, and here's the other question too, is like, what happens to some of those Discovery channels? Because I feel, I mean, we're already starting to see some of them die off, so it's like, I wonder what happens on that side of things too.
Mm. I mean, they still got Discovery Plus for some odd reason, so
Which,
they
yeah,
can
that
just
doesn't
dump
make
their
any
shows
sense.
on there.
Doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense when you have Max and you're pretty much going to put those on there. So it's like,
But that was pretty much what this Max was. It was supposed to be a combination of HBO Max and Discovery Plus, and then all of a sudden, in years now, you removing all those shows off of Max. So it's ridiculous.
Well, I don't particularly mind that.
Yeah,
I
true.
do wonder what's going to happen with like Paramount Plus. I think that's going to be sucked up by something. By the way, shame on Paramount Plus not doing more of the animated Transformers movies. That one was so good. Oh my
It
Oh,
god!
was.
man.
Transformers 1 was really,
Transformers
really
one was
good.
good.
Like the only
Unfortunately,
thing
it
that,
bombed terribly, which is why it's not getting
Yeah.
funded, which is unfortunate because Transformers 1 was great and it was wonderful.
I saw
And
it
oh my
unless you're,
god,
I did too. It was great, but
Yeah.
it just didn't work. They
was
advertised
so
it
sad.
terribly.
Yeah,
Zero
I was
promotion
so
on
sad.
it. Zero promotion.
No, there was
And-
promotion. It just wasn't good promotion.
Wasn't good
Yes,
enough.
and-
Yeah.
Well,
It
it
gave
was
you the wrong impression of what it was going to be. But that's
Yeah.
a whole
And
other
didn't it-
tirade for another time.
Yeah, that's a whole tirade. Let's
Yeah.
not do
Yeah,
that.
I think we've had
That's
enough
the-
tirading for one night.
Yeah.
I was going to
The
ask.
only other
Didn't it? Yeah, I was going to ask. Did Transformers premiere on a day that another movie came out?
No,
Uh,
it
Damn.
didn't really have
don't
any.
think it
I don't
did.
think it. If I remember correctly,
It's-
last year it wasn't on. Nothing huge was around it. Like Beetlejuice, the second one, Beetlejuice 2, came out in September, and that came out, I want to say, at the end of September, early October. And there wasn't anything huge out there, so nothing was really like. I mean, yeah, Beetlejuice 2 was doing well, but
weeks where it wasn't really
Yeah.
Okay.
competitive.
Okay. Got it.
yeah,
Okay.
so it had its chance. It just nobody wanted to watch it, and that really is sad because that was a really good show. And
really
honestly,
was a good movie.
movie. I'm sorry,
It was.
not show.
Yeah, when
movie.
you were saying Paramount
Um,
Plus and show, and you're talking to them, I'm like, Earthspark?
No, I'm
He's just
I'm
talking
getting
about
tired,
Paramount,
Laser.
the company.
Laser,
Yeah,
I'm
I
getting
know.
tired. Okay, it's getting to the
Yeah,
bewitching
you're
hour.
We're all
using all
getting
the wrong
tired.
terms
We
in
need to
the
wrap
way that
this
they
up.
align.
That's what happens
I'm
when
getting
you're
tired.
41 years old.
Well, I'm 44. What's your excuse?
Let's be in
No, I
our
know.
early
I know.
40s together.
Yes.
Laser, why don't I send you 3 kids and then you can tell me what my excuse is?
Okay. Well, but they're not there right now.
That's true, and I am getting more sleep, but I'm getting to the bewitching hour.
Then why
Um,
you tired, old man?
Listen here, okay? Don't make me take you out back and spread the sketch, okay? Anyways.
brother.
But yeah. The other thing real quick too that I'm interested in is I want to see how this partnership with Max and Disney goes and Hulu. Like obviously it's just a streaming package right now, but I'm interested to see if more comes from that because maybe that bundle has been successful for Max and maybe that's helping them. I don't know that for sure because I don't have numbers. I haven't heard anything, but it could be helping and it could be giving them more revenue too.
Probably
So
is.
we'll see. But I would be interested to see what happens there too.
All right, steering this back to Toonami.
Yeah.
In case you hadn't heard, dear listeners, there will be a Lazarus marathon on the second Saturday in July. Yes, we're getting 2 marathons in a row. This upcoming Saturday, we have a Superman, My Adventures with Superman Season 2 marathon that runs from midnight to 5. And then on the 12th of July, we have a full Lazarus subtitled marathon. Yeah, they're finally playing the subtitle version on TV. They finally made good on that. And that will be actually running extended Toonami hours. It will run from 11 until 5:30. So that's pretty cool. They dared to take Rick and Morty off for a night. And we'll actually have Family Guy right before Toonami. Won't that be a fun transition? Family Guy straight into Japanese Lazarus.
They better play like some weird thing that would make sense for Family Guy. And then lead it in with that. That would be hilarious.
Play that one episode of Family Guy where they're all like Japanese and screaming.
Can I ask a stupid question?
I think that's just a cutaway.
Can I ask a stupid question?
You're gonna.
I know. Is the sub already on Max?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Like 2-3 episodes behind the dub.
Okay.
Which was a choice. I think by the time this marathon airs, either all of it or maybe the first 12 episodes will be available on Max.
Okay.
Subtitle. There's actually multiple languages, which is interesting.
How does? Well, that's a good thing. How does it sound? Does it sound good the sub or no?
Honestly, they sound more medicated than the dub.
Oh.
Well,
that's a choice.
I guess they're all on hot.
I don't know. I was getting kind of sleepy trying to watch it the other day. Maybe it gets better, but some of those early episodes, I was like, these are good actors. I don't understand what's going on here.
They do say that people are watching more dub than sub now, so you know.
I don't know.
I guess it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but yeah, I was just curious about that because I was like, sub marathon. I'm like, did they actually play the whole thing? Oh, by the way, it's 11:30, isn't it? That it starts.
I believe it's 11.
11:30. Yeah, it's not bad.
It's 11.
Yeah, it's 11.
I wonder.
And,
I wonder if we'll get sub Tom again.
Probably not. The funny thing
funny.
is, I imagine all of the bumps will be dub. Just because they'll probably reuse bumps, but
they'll probably reuse them. Yeah.
Yeah, or not. Usually they
So-
do make new bumps for marathons. So, but it still might all be dub clips.
So before we end this, do we think anything will be coming after those 2 marathons? Like, do we think something's going to replace Lazarus, or do you think it's just going to repeat?
I think something's gonna happen. I think it's gonna be Demon Slayer. However, they are showing the first episode of Rooster Fighter at Anime Expo this
Yeah.
upcoming weekend.
Yeah.
So maybe out of nowhere, that ends up being the replacement for Lazarus.
Mm.
That would be something.
I feel
Yeah.
like they should hold off until a bit later in the year for that, but
Yeah.
just smoke them if you got them, I guess.
Yeah.
It would at least explain why there was a rush to play Dragon Ball Daima and not just wait until Lazarus ended before starting that. Because why would you start that show and then take it off for 2 weeks? Just
I mean,
questionable.
there's other things out there. I mean, we might see Mashal, we might see
There's plenty of
Fire
options.
Force. Fire Force season 3 we might see.
I
don't know
think
if-
that's happening.
Yeah, I'm
I think that
confused on
report
that.
was entirely false. And Crunchyroll ain't gonna play. But I hope to be wrong
if
about
they-
that. I've been enjoying
they are
Fire
on the
Force
production,
season 3.
if they are
I-
on the production committee.
I don't believe for a second that they're on the production committee.
No, either do I, but if they are, that would be I don't know if I were Crunchyroll, if I would want to play with Warner Brothers Discovery on that one. But
If they were on a production,
I don't know if
committee,
I
think
believe
we know
that.
by now.
Yeah.
I don't think they would have waited this long to get it on Toonami. The whole thing's
Well-
dubbed, or almost.
I mean, didn't
nearly.
Jason say the other day that they don't want it on until the whole series comes on and then they put it on TV?
No,
Isn't that what
he
he
hasn't said
said?
that specifically.
But like they don't
They only
like
have
clips
like
being out
1
there
or
or
2
something.
episodes they haven't dubbed yet, so like it would be completely safe.
Yeah.
It's almost done. So by then it would be done. This part of season 3, the final season, whatever it may be. And Dr. Stone also an option, but again, unless TMS is making things happen,
I
they
would
got Bleach before they got a Crunchyroll show. I think that says a lot.
Indeed.
I believe that their TMS that'll probably end up coming. Let me put it this way.
I'll be real
believe-
disappointed if Dr. Stone doesn't finish on Toonami.
I believe Dr. Stone will be coming to Toonami more than I believe Fire Force is coming to Toonami because of TMS.
Likewise.
But we'll see. Yeah. And then obviously you said Dragon.
I don't know what's
or
going
you
on
said,
with Toho and My Hero Academia. That's just a whole.
Yeah.
That's just a whole thing. Hey, but Vigilantes is getting another season. I didn't
Yes,
know it had enough material for 2.
I didn't either, but yeah,
Fun show though.
it
I-
is. Vigilantes is a good time.
I like Vigilantes more than several seasons of My Hero Academia.
Oh, and
Alright,
I like
just
Hero
putting that out there.
Academia.
But it's not coming to Toonami, but dang, I wish 2B Hero X would, because it is baller. I don't say this about many shows, but it might be as good or better a superhero society show than not just My Hero Academia, not just One Punch Man, also Tiger and Bunny. That's a high
That
mark
is
for me.
high praise. It didn't do it for me. I couldn't get into it, but I'm glad that you did.
Yeah, I think it's great. People should definitely check that out. And check out K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix. That movie is bonkers, and I love it. Very, very fun. That evidently is what Sony Animation has been up to instead of Spider-Verse, and I'm okay with it. They also got Gendy's movie coming to Netflix, so Sony's doing some interesting things with Netflix. Tangentially related to Crunchyroll, I suppose, being the same owners. Yeah. But before we completely get off Lazarus, I do agree with Josh Knighton in the chat that, you know, if a story is good, you know, it ends, you don't have to have more necessarily.
That's true.
There's nothing wrong with just having an ending. And I agree with that. And,
And they
there's
went on to
gotta
be-
be a good story reason to do more. And I think
Yeah.
They were.
there is potential.
There is.
There's a
not-
whole lot
there
of
isn't
connection with
necessarily-
Axel's background that you could do something with that.
Oh, for sure. You could definitely flesh out these characters more, and I wish they would. But I also agree with what he has said about these characters were designed for this story. They served that purpose. So even
Yeah.
though you could do more with them, they've served that purpose. I'm okay.
Yeah,
either
and
way.
honestly, I'd rather have a one season show than have it drag on like Squid Games.
Ooh.
But that's a different
Uh.
conversation for another time.
Well, I'd rather have another season of this than to see more ninja mech suits. Let's put it that way.
Yep, we managed to go an entire Toonami original without ninja mech suits. Hooray!
Yeah. So
And I was waiting for them to happen all the way up to the last episode.
like all of a sudden in the background you start to see like a mech suit come out of the corner and then somebody snatches it
Oh
away.
no. Oh no.
Literally
That's-
just waiting to hear the Ninja Robots theme play.
And you're just the Punisher in the chair, like, no. And
And it's just Luffy pushing the zombie back down into the ground.
Oh, you see the big like wooden hook come out of nowhere and pull back.
Please no. Please no.
Bad ninja robot, go away.
None of that.
Yep.
Okay, so we've already received several Toonami talkbacks, but if you still have additional thoughts on Lazarus, please do send them hashtag Toonami Talkback. Respond to the tweet that we put out a couple days ago. And that would be great to get your feedback for when we really do a deep dive talking about the final episode of Lazarus, as well as our general thoughts on it, with hopefully a special guest, unless they have to cancel. A returning member of the Toonami Faithful crew for one last time. Allegedly. So that's the hype. And again, it's not Jose. I think we're never gonna get Jose on to talk about an original series again. You know, conflict of interest and all that. But never say never, I suppose. Anyway, you can email us at podcast@ToonamiFaithful.com. You can follow us on Facebook.com/ToonamiFaithfulPodcast and on Twitter @ToonamiPodcast. You can listen to the podcast on just about everything, including Apple Podcasts, CastBox, Deezer, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Overcast, Podbay, Podbean, Podcast Addict, Radio.com, Spotify, and the TuneIn app. And you can find every episode of the podcast to stream online at the same place they found the encrypted clinical trials on Lazarus, SoundCloud.com/Toonami Faithful Podcast. Will I ever stop saying that? We'll see. And you can get the latest news by following @ToonamiFaithful.com on Blue Sky and @Toonami News on Twitter, and read the news, views, and reviews on ToonamiFaithful.com. Kuro is currently trying to get a bunch of our writers to do little blurbs, a couple paragraphs talking about things that aren't on Toonami that we're watching and whether or not we recommend them or don't. It should be a fun read once it is out. Maybe it'll be out by the time this podcast is up. But obviously it's not up right now. Actually, we've been having some trouble with the website. What's going on with that, Paul?
You mean the website that's back up and running?
Yeah, but why? What was going on with that?
We don't have to talk about that on a podcast.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that it got sorted out, whatever it was.
The source code was stuck in SoundCloud, so Paul had to manually get it out.
Uh-oh. And if you haven't listened to it, please listen to Kuro and I's recent interview with Jason DeMarco, where we clear up a lot of misunderstandings from previous interviews with him and Watanabe about how Lazarus came to be, how Jason is not responsible for a lack of future Space Dandy content, and, stuff like that. Like, I'm still seeing comments about it. I'm also seeing people quoting that interview. I'm like, this is a weird feeling. But also, I'm like, scouring what they've wrote down. It's like, okay, are they interpreting this as they should? Okay, that's adequate. Because I don't want the same thing to happen with our interview that happened with those interviews. That would be very counterproductive to having that interview in the first place. So, give it a listen. Yeah, I think you'll find it to be very enlightening. It was nice catching up with him. All right. First up, JP, tell the folks where they can find you.
They can find me on Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, and Instagram at JPReckless2444.
All right. Steven, tell the folks where they can find you.
You can find Streamin' Steven on Twitter.
He did the
it's
thing.
basic. I know, I did it. It's cool. Yeah, you can just find me anywhere. It's MXA Goes. You want to follow me, you can go ahead. I don't really care. I just tweet about Kamen Rider stuff and Super Sentai stuff. I really don't care. Maybe I'll stream some other stuff on my own channel. Maybe not. Who knows? But I'll keep that a mystery to myself and you to figure it out, just like the Lazarus plot.
Laser, tell the folks where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at LaserKid Prime. You can find me on Blue Sky at LaserKid. Remember, I have a Blue Sky. And you can find me on my podcast, Assembled of Saints, which is on all of the fun social media platforms at Assembled of Saints. Podcast is also on YouTube and Spotify, where we'll be talking about Gundam with Sketch soon.
Yeah.
Because that is recorded and in the editing pipeline.
Yep, had the opportunity to talk about Jiquux.
Good time.
Another show that is sadly not coming to Toonami, and I still blame V-Lord.
Dang it, V-Lord! You stole it from us!
Curse you once again!
Stop putting anime on Amazon, V-Lord. The quality of dubs is very inconsistent.
Oh, gosh.
Though I do appreciate that they're same day, I guess. Paul, tell the folks where they could find you.
Well, shortly in my bed. But before then, you can find me on X, Blue Sky, Instagram. Just search for Paul Pascrillo. And you can email me, paulpascrillo@toonamifaithful.com if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. And Sketch, where can they find you, sir?
You can find me on Twitter at Sketch1984 and also on Blue Sky. Look up Sketch1984 and as previously mentioned, recently and soon to be released episode of the Simuldub Saints. Maybe I'll pop up somewhere else too. We'll see.
Ooh.
We'll see. So thank you all for listening, whether you're tuning in to the live stream or you're catching the podcast version after it's been podcastified. We always appreciate your listenership. Thanks for sticking with us. Hope you tune in for our final Lazarus discussion. Should actually be happening this weekend. I know I'll probably have this episode either out on Friday or Saturday, so it might actually be recording the same day. Yeah, on a Saturday. Why not? I mean, we don't have to worry about what's on Toonami.
Yeah.
So, either Saturday or Sunday is what we're looking at. So, hopefully we can pull that off. And we hope to have a great conversation with that. And finally put Lazarus back in the grave or what have you. Oh, they finally explained the title. But more about that next time. So until then, don't ask what the burgers are made of.
Ichigo, I am your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
So what does that make us?
Absolutely nothing, which is what you are about to become.
What's your right-hand man's name again?
Haschwalth.
Achu Gesundheit.
Hachu Gesundheit. become a true Gesundheit.